This is Thursday, August 3rd, 2020. Special considerations. If participating virtually, please mute yourself when you're not speaking and use the raise hand feature in the participants panel to indicate you would like to speak on the agenda item. Remember to unclick or lower your hand afterwards. Please limit extraneous use of the chat feature as it can distract board members and audience members from the conversation place item meeting. Here's we got you hear that, yeah?
Oh my God.
What happened?
We heard most of it. You come in kind of choppy.
Sorry, you guys. It's I got a blank screen again, and I'm gonna hit. I got the circle going on and see what happens. Oh, okay, I'm gonna just keep going, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
You're doing good.
Okay. Rules of participation. Anyone wishing to speak, raise your hand. After recognition, address your comments to the chair. Comments must relate to the pending agenda item. By board rules, audience and board members can have up to 2 turns to speak on a topic. Those speaking should be concise and limit comments to 1 per turn. Now, there's very important, especially this one. 1 minute. Now, remember that. You have to keep a time clock, but those giving reports should limit their reports to 3 minutes, 5 minutes per presentations. Please silence all electronic devices. Notes: the board may take action on any agenda item as required by state sunshine law. Specific issues not listed on this agenda cannot be voted on unless properly added to the agenda by a 2/3 vote. Okay. Both of us at 30, well, it's by the neighborhood system. Okay? For any board member elect who has not yet received the oath of office, Linda will do that for you now.
So
Do you have anybody that hasn't been?
Chair, we already completed that before the meeting for the people that came in person. That was Louis and Michelle. The only one that needs to be sworn in is Lindsay. She's not online, so we can continue on.
Okay, doke. The other next thing then I will go to is order. Okay, good job, board.
For you online.
Sorry, Chair. We're trying to get organized.
No. Nice to have you.
And Judy is also here in person.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Go, Chair. You're free. Run the meeting.
Okay. Order. Are you going to do a roll call, Lyndon?
I can do a roll call, but I think everybody's here except for Lindsay. So I'll start off Dave Barber.
Okay.
Judy DeVelbis.
Here.
Paul Rabati.
Here.
Wookie Kim.
Here.
Morgan Lee.
Here.
Luis Caldera.
Here.
Angie Solomon.
Here.
Michelle Ketchuk. Oh, and Muhammad. Is Muhammad here? I don't think I saw him. So we have 2 absent. We have quorum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 quorum. Quorums.
Okay, doke. Number 3, election. Hello. Number 3, election of a looking want that position. We need somebody. Nobody?
What's that?
What are we doing?
We need a second.
Secretary.
I'll be the secretary. I mean, you gotta run a vote though.
There you go.
I'm gonna move this forward.
All right, Louis,
Volunteer.
self-nominated for secretary.
A second.
I'll do that. I hope you guys out with that. I'll get an AI to do it.
Are there any other nominations, Chair, or are you gonna close the nomination?
Anybody else?
That's the one.
Okay,
Aloha, I'm so sorry. This is Lindsay. I'm on the meeting. I'm just on the phone.
okay, got you, Lindsay. So while you're here, let's have you take the oath of office. So if you could raise your right hand
Okay.
and repeat after me. I solemnly swear
Okay. I solemnly swear
that I'll faithfully support the Constitution
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United
Constitution and the laws of the state of Hawaii,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Hawaii,
the charter and the laws of the city and county of Honolulu,
the charter and the laws of the city and county of Honolulu,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan.
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan.
And will
I'm so sorry,
conscientiously.
my phone is having trouble now.
No worries. And will conscientiously and impartially
The laws of the city and county of Honolulu and the provisions of the neighborhood plan.
and will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties
I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
as a member of a neighborhood board to which I have been elected.
as a member of the neighborhood board to which I have been elected.
Come back, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay. Okay, now we're going to number 4, public safety liaison. Honolulu Department,
Chair,
section 29.
so we'd still do
Yes.
the secretary, right?
Yeah.
So
No, didn't we do that?
can you close nominations so I can take the roll call vote?
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna do, for secretary, we have Luis Caldera. You must state the name of the person that you want to serve as secretary. Even though there's only one person, you need to say their name. Or you can abstain. So, let's start with Lindsay. Lindsay,
I'll start.
Alfred. Lindsay Alfred.
Hi, yes.
Okay, come on. Luis Caldera. Dave Barber,
Lewis.
Judy DeVelvis,
Lewis. Say Lewis.
Louis.
Wookie Kim,
Lewis.
Morgan Lee,
Louis.
Angie Solomon,
Louis.
Michelle Kempton. Just in case he's here, Muhammad Anwar, Audrey. Luis Caldera,
I gotta do the minute. Oh, I got it.
and Paul Rabadi.
Luis Caldera.
All right, it's unanimous. Congratulations,
Wow.
Secretary.
Oh my God.
Uh, Okay. So we're on next. Hello.
Yep, move on.
Okay. Public safety liaison, Honolulu Fire Department, station 29. Hello?
Evening.
Anybody?
Good evening. This is firefighter 3, David Moffat II. Can you folks all hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Right on. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm from Station 29, 2nd Platoon. I'll be giving this month's neighborhood board report. We'll give the statistics for July 2023. In terms of fires, we had 0 structure fires, 0 wildland or brush fires. We had 4 nuisance fires, which include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle. We had 0 cooking fires, and we had 9 activated alarms, which there was no fire at. It's just an activated alarm. In the other category for emergencies, we had 107 medicals, 0 motor vehicle collisions with pedestrians. We had 5 motor vehicle crashing collisions. And in terms of mountain rescues, ocean rescues, which not really applicable, and hazmat incidents, we've had 0 for each of those categories. Are there any questions at this time regarding the statistics or anything in general for Honolulu Fire Department?
Sure don't.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and seems like there's no questions. I'll read the fire safety tip. This one is it's both for fire and fall prevention. We want to help ensure the safety of our esteemed elders. Esteemed elders. Implementing prevention and preparedness practices will promote independence and reduce the frequency of injury or death from home fires and falls. There's more information at fire.honolulu.gov. I'll just read a couple of the tips here. When you're in the kitchen, when you're frying food and cooking, stay in the kitchen. Keep a lid nearby. If a pan of food catches fire, slide a lid over it and turn the burner off. Remember, the stovetop and oven are not used for storage, and we do see that a lot where people they just use it as storage, and that can be very hazardous. Ensure working smoke alarms are installed properly. We also have bed shaker and strobe alarms are available for people that are hearing or visually impaired. Plan your escape from fire and plan it knowing your abilities. Keep your exit routes clear, ensure windows and doors open easily, and practice your escape plan. When the alarm sounds, get outside, stay outside. Call 911 from a safe meeting place. If you're unable to evacuate, then shelter in place, and then stay near a window. Make yourself visible to responding fire companies and call 911. In terms of falls, exercise regularly to build strength and improve coordination and balance. Ask the doctor about what's appropriate physical exercise. Be aware of your surroundings, uneven surfaces. Take your time getting out of a chair or bed. We see a lot of those where people have fallen right next to their chair or bed. Stand and get your balance before you begin to walk. Keep areas clear, pathways clear, stairs well lit, clear of tripping hazards. Wear sturdy, well-fitting footwear and utilize handrails. Lastly, review your medications with your doctors. Keep an updated list of medications, directives, and emergency contacts posted on your refrigerator. For us in the fire department, one of the first places we look for information is on the refrigerator. All these items, as well as there's any kapuna or anyone that has a pulse, usually we'll look on the refrigerator to see what the wishes of that individual are and their family. With that concludes our fire safety tips and announcements. And if there's no other questions, that's all that I have from the Honolulu Fire Department.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the fire department?
None here.
I'd like to, for that, I never thought about that.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming. The next one. All right, moving along. Next, Honolulu Police Department. We got District 1.
Hello, Chair Rabadi and everyone in attendance. Lieutenant Arnold Sugusi representing the District 1 Community Every Responsibility. Thank you for your time and patience. If you guys need more statistical information other than what I provide for you today, it's going to be on the public website of www.honolulupd.org. So I'm going to start off with motor vehicle thefts for July. It was 1. Previous month was 5. Burglaries were 1. Previous month was 1. Thefts was 8. Previous month was 7. UMVs or car break-ins were 8. Previously to that was 5. Assaults were 0. Previous month was 1. Sex assaults were 0 for both months. Graffiti cases 0. Previous month was 3. Drug offenses were 1. Previous month was 0. Also check the category of robbery. There was 1 reported and it occurred on third watch. Total calls for service for your area, which was west of Hauʻoli Street, was 399 calls for service compared to the previous month of 427. So just a little bit of an update. So HPD, we're at the verge of transitioning to the 313 schedules. So that's going to be occurring on August 20th. I just wanted to reassure everyone that there will be no interruptions in service or coverage. So just continue to call and we'll respond. Yeah. Safety tip for the month of July. We're seeing a lot of skimmers, credit card skimmers. So before you use your credit card, please look at the device that you're tapping on or inserting your credit card into. It won't look factory. Sometimes there's extra bulky pieces attached. Ask the sales rep if the device was checked at the beginning of their shift, and also to check with your credit card company if you have that feature of unusual purchase notifications, especially if the credit card is being used out of state or unusually in other locations where you normally don't shop. Yeah. And once you get those types of notifications, make immediately checks with the credit card company to make sure that we can stop any other further transactions. Yeah. Other than that, I'm going to yield back the rest of my time and take any questions from the board and the public attendees.
Any questions?
Joanne has her hand up.
Joanne?
Yes, so Officer Sugusio, you're in District 1. What kind of calls have been, you said there were 399 calls. What are most of the calls about? What are you doing about the graffiti that's already presently there and all the homeless that have been messing that? Your District 1 is terrible. So what are you guys doing about that?
So the 399 calls on my statistics information does not tell me exactly what was the majority of the types of calls that these calls were for. You can possibly look at that www.honolulupd.org for more statistical information in regards to the crime web mapping. In regards to the graffiti cases in our district, Chinatown, if you're speaking about Chinatown, they're doing a lot of, we're doing a coordinated effort in doing some paint overs, but just realize this, doing paint overs isn't as simple as just picking up paint and just slapping it on the wall and covering up this graffiti. There's a lot of work that the community policing team has to also do. The first thing that we need to do is we need to get approval from the building owner that the paint is approved before we can do any type of paint overs. So it's kind of a logistical.
I'm talking more about
for us.
Kalakaua and King, the corner of Kalakaua and King.
Kalakaua and King. I have to go look at that location, but if I'm not mistaken, we cannot just paint over on any type of building without getting permission from the owners. Yeah.
What about all the homeless making a mess on that corner there? A lot by the river.
We're doing those sweeps. We're doing SPOs, SNOs on a regular schedule. So I think the ones that are upcoming are listed on the public website. Yeah.
Are you arresting the drug addicts?
Okay, so
Was there cases of drug use at the location?
Yeah.
We respond to those types of calls. Yeah.
Drug dealers.
I might have to check our statistical information in regards to that, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, next. Anybody else have questions?
Oh,
Okay, thank you very much. Next, District 7. East Honolulu.
Hi, aloha, Lieutenant Taro Akabara with HPD District 7. These are stats for July as compared to the previous month. Motor vehicle thefts were 7 as compared to 12. Burglaries were 6 as compared to 7. Thefts in general were 28 as compared to 20. And UEMVs, which is theft from autos, remained at 10 as opposed to 10 the previous month. This had a total calls of service of 6,225 for the whole district. And our safety tip for the month is just some back to school safety tip type reminders, which I sent out to you folks. Mainly, what it highlights is getting to and from school, because the biggest tragedy would be if somebody was injured going to school. So if the kids are going to use bicycles, always try to have them wear a helmet and wear bright clothing if possible. If you're going to walk your child to school, it's a lot harder to see the kids than adults. So if you can, please walk them to school. If you cannot, make sure they're in pairs. And then lastly, backpacks. I know there's a lot of books and stuff that need to be carried, but backpacks can be a cause for other injuries. So they recommend that it shouldn't be more than 10 to 15 pounds of the child's weight. And that's our safety tip for the month.
Anybody have any questions?
Laura has her hand up.
Yes, yes, a few days ago, there was, I guess, several robberies, and the guy ran the upstairs landing of on Coolidge Street. Could you update us on what the robber was doing and what happened? Thank you.
Sure, I'm not personally aware of that case, but I can look it up and give you the results next
Okay.
meeting. On Coolidge
Thank
Street,
you.
do you remember what day it was?
Laura?
Oh, I'm
Laura,
sorry,
the
I'm
officer.
having a hard time hearing you.
Within the last week. I'm sorry, I don't know the date.
Okay.
Tom has his hand up.
Okay, fire away.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Tom Heinrich. Lieutenant Nakamura, I just wanted to make a thank you comment. The community policing team from D7 participated and did a bunch of keiki and kupuna IDs on Saturday, July 22nd for a 4M community Blue Zones day there at Old Stadium Park at King and Eisenberg. So we were there from 9 to 12. But anyway, I think this is our 5th time. And every time HPD is usually doing a different type of activity, but the last 2 times has been the ID activity. So anyway, appreciate the continued help with the community policing team. Thanks.
Thank you for your support, sir. I'll pass that on to the CPD team. It's good that the parks can be used by everybody. Yeah.
Okay, anybody else any questions?
And Joanne has her hand up.
Okay, Joanne?
The same question to you, Lieutenant Nakamura. If you have you said we have 6,225 911 calls, and the issue. I'm about the homeless issue here, because I have several homeless coming down my street yelling and screaming. They're on drugs. They're not in their right state. It's very dangerous. They need to be off the street. So what are we doing more aggressively? I mean, I know you guys are doing a good job. It's the legislature who doesn't make these stronger bills to get them off the street, get them out of our parks, get them off of our sidewalks. So besides that, what aggressive moves are you guys going to make so that we can feel safe in this community? We already had a couple murders too here.
Sure. First and foremost, I think we all have to pause, take a step back, and ask ourselves, homelessness is not a policing problem. It's a societal issue. It encompasses way more different issues than just, did he break the law? Is he going to get a ticket? Is he going to go to jail? They're loitering on this property or that property. There's so many different layers to the homelessness issue, and I know we've had this conversation plenty of times, but it is a difficult one. You cannot I'm just gonna flat out say, you cannot expect the police department to be the only police agency in the city or the state or even the federal government that's gonna solve the homeless problem.
I know.
We are an emergency response agency that will respond to acts of crime or alleged crime. So that being said, if the quote unquote homeless are committing a crime, definitely please call us. We will respond and act, take appropriate measures. If they're not committing a crime, every person in the United States of America has their constitutional rights, and we will protect those constitutional rights. And as unpopular sometimes as it may be, sometimes we will, I mean, we have to do that. That's just, well, that's just me. I'm gonna say it like that. So yes, is homelessness is a major issue for not just Hawaii, but nationally? Absolutely. Just go to
Because we
California.
tolerate too much of their
Let's
bad
go to
behavior.
California. It's way worse over
Yeah,
there.
because we tolerate bad behavior. A lot of it is bad behavior. Sorry.
No, I agree with you on very many issues, as you well know, Joanne.
Yep. And it's not your fault. It's I know who it is. I know who they are that don't make the proper laws so you can do anything about it.
Joanne.
Okay, go ahead.
Anybody else have questions for the officer? The thank you, top and by, officer.
Okay, folks, take care.
Thank you. Okay, we're looking for filling of vacancies. Do we have anybody left or?
Is there anyone that's interested in filling vacancies? There's somebody here that is.
We have one here, Chair, fill a vacancy.
Well, I can't see them, so
Okay.
I have a blank screen.
It's hard to have the chair online.
I know.
Yeah, this is the last, by the way, just to let you know, this is my last month not for me. I hope won't have Walker next month. So we'll be going to meetings, or I will be, again, as we did before COVID.
There we go.
So just a thought.
So, Chair, if you want to take a recess so I can verify his ID, that he lives in the neighborhood board district.
The camera is on.
Okay. Let's take a 5-minute recess, you guys.
Freaking out movies.
Let me know when we come back, Lyndon.
Yep.
I'm tired.
Yep, Chair, verify that he's part of the, he lives in the district.
All righty.
So you could give him some time to introduce himself, and then if the board decides that they want to nominate him, then we will need a nomination in a second.
This is
Perfect.
You got the camera right. Yeah. There you go.
Christopher Solis. I've lived in this district 14 years, lived in Hawaii 15 years. Came out here for college, stuck around, worked in the service industry most of my time, worked a couple sessions at the state capitol. I work for a nonprofit currently. been attending board meetings for them for outreach and figured why not look into my own.
Okay.
Thank you for serving. Thank you for standing there. Yeah, that's hard.
Are they in?
Okay, Lyndon,
I'll nominate. There you go. I'm new. I'm not sure.
Is there a second?
I second the nomination.
Oh, there you go. Second. All right. So, let's do an all in favor, right?
Unanimous.
Yeah. Chair, so you can take the vote. If there's, all those say aye, then nays, and then any abstentions.
all righty, let's take a little vote here and bring him on our.
Can we
Read
ask
'em off there,
questions
Lenny.
before you pick him?
Sure. I mean, the board can ask questions, or anybody can ask questions.
I'd like to ask a question.
Okay.
What
You
would you
guys try
do? Can I ask it? What would you do to better this neighborhood, to make it better? I mean, I'm talking about Mōʻiliʻili, McCully area. What kind of background do you have to make this area better?
Well, the nonprofit work I currently do works with making the streets safer for all users, pedestrians, cyclists, drivers. I suppose I'd like to see more of that.
Priorities.
Any more questions?
Anybody else have a question? Again, really sorry, I can't even see you. But, anybody else have any?
He looks good.
Okay. Lyndon, why don't we do a roll call and go from there?
Okay, you want me to do a roll call vote? Okay, so we have Christopher Salas to fill the vacancy for at large, since you guys are all at large. And we start with Lindsay Allred,
Aye.
Dave Barber,
Aye.
Julie DeVelvis, Wookie Kim,
Aye.
Morgan Lee,
Aye.
Luis Caldera,
Aye.
Angie Solomon,
Aye.
Michelle Kapchuk,
Better make room.
and just in case Muhammad, you show up, and Paul Robati.
Aye.
Unanimous, congratulations, welcome to the board.
And here's your.
Let's take a. Here's your seat, right? There, you just go against Wayne Jimenez.
Sorry, you got the dogs.
I'm gonna raise your right hand and then read that.
I solemnly swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and the laws of the state of Hawaii, the charter and laws of the city and county of Honolulu, and the provisions of the neighborhood plan, and will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties to the best of my ability as a member of the neighborhood board to which I have been elected or appointed.
Congratulations, welcome to the board.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Could have been secretary. That's your job.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, guess what? My computer just opened up again. Okay, I'm still on there 2 places. But, okay, next. One of the organization termination. I don't think we talked about this one before. Are we okay with the Thursday and the same time at 6:30? I think we talked a little bit about it, but we didn't come up with a conclusion. Are we okay with Thursdays? Time 30? Location and change.
Works.
Okay, is that okay?
Generally here, they seem like they're okay with 6:30.
Unanimous.
Okay, so we're gonna stay with that. Next, recess schedule.
Chair,
To pick,
should make a motion and a second to retain meeting here 6:30 at this location every, what's this, first Thursday. Is there a
First
motion?
Thursday. We're gonna stay with that location for the meetings?
Yeah, so we need to take a vote for it.
I
So,
move that we stay on Thursday at 6:30 here at this location.
Yes.
You're able to secure this location?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I second.
Oh, okay, let's,
Okay.
second one.
Okay, let me take the vote. Is there any, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
I.
Aye.
Any nays? Any
Not
abstentions?
necessarily a nay, but I thought we had discussed potentially starting 30 minutes later. Is that, are people?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Do
Okay.
you want to make an amendment? Can.
If
You want to
guys
call for
want-
7?
Yeah. It's up to you guys.
It sounds like we had that conversation if you want. I don't care.
We did, but we never came up with an ending of that. That's why I started with that one.
So we can release.
7:30, 7 o'clock?
So you wanna amend the motion for 7? Correct?
I'm okay either way.
Okay,
7 is.
Okay,
let's amend the motion for first Thursday here at this location with WebEx at 7 PM.
okay.
All right, for those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I.
It might reduce the rest.
Those nay?
Nay.
Nay. 2 nays. Any abstentions? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 ayes, 2 nays, and 0 abstention. The motion passes.
Okay, so Thursday, 7 o'clock.
So next
Okay.
month, 7 o'clock.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Can you take any questions from the audience?
If the chair would want to take,
I didn't hear,
but it's mostly board business. Like,
Yeah, unfortunately.
I didn't hear the question.
does it, if this closes at 9, 8:30? I'm
Oh,
not
that's
too
a
sure.
good question. What time do you have?
Yeah, I'm not too
location?
sure what time
Oh,
this location.
That's a good
closes,
question.
actually.
Because now we have a shorter agenda.
Upstairs, we're going 9 o'clock. Down here,
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll have to follow up on that. So let's leave it at 7 for now. Then I'll follow up on what time we have this room till.
Okay.
Thank you. Good question.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah, that's very good. We could always get another half hour in the parking lot. Okay, reset schedule next. Did we pick 3 months? No, yeah, we didn't finish that one, did we? Okay, we get to choose 3 months for recess. I believe we don't have to use it, but we have the opportunity to not be here for 3 months. Anybody have any ideas when you'd like to have that off, or anybody?
So I can start a motion to see if anybody's interested in having one of them be December. And then if somebody wants to add on to that or amend it, they can do it from there. But I think that December, it's important for leave and
Yes.
such, especially. But I mean, again, it's the first Thursday, so it's up to the board for their decision. But I think December is kind of important for a lot of people.
I would say December
I-
too.
I think that's what we had the last couple of months.
did we vote on it?
I would say
Last couple of years, we
January.
took January.
January? Okay, we can do a motion for December. Not me, but we can do a motion for December and
For
January.
December.
You can't have 2 recesses back to back.
No,
Yeah.
What is this?
But not, yeah, we don't want to January vote.
So it's either January or December. You can't do back to
December
back.
would be a recess month. But I won't vote for December and January.
So like we were, well, we got 3.
Yeah, if anybody wants another one sometime,
Yes.
my birthday's in March.
Well, let's just start with December or January. Which one are we gonna do?
Well, so
Okay,
the conversation again was that it's the first Thursday of December and it's the first Thursday of January. So coming into January, he's saying that he thinks that January is a little bit more advantageous considering we can't do December or January together.
Yeah, that's what I would think. So January is the.
So right
Can I
now,
just add that December this year, or their first meeting of the month is on the 7th of December. So it's kind of deep into the month. Just flagging that for people. It's not like it's on like 1, 2, the first, second, or third. So I think it actually would be better to take the 7th off. Because it's January 4th.
Meeting day.
I'm okay anyway.
Okay with that.
You want to do this? You want to do a motion? You should do a motion for this.
Why don't we just go through December now? Want something in the future, we can always vote on it at any time.
Like that. I like that. You want to do the motion for December?
Okay, I make a motion, we recess for the month of December.
Second.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
We have to vote on it.
Linda, let's do a roll call. Get that one taken care of.
All right, I can do a roll call vote. This is a roll call vote to go to recess in December. I'm starting with Lindsay Alred.
Yes.
No.
No.
David Barber.
Aye.
Judy DeVelvis. Wookie Kim.
Me.
Morgan Lee.
Aye.
Luis Caldera.
Aye.
Angie Solomon.
Aye.
Michelle Kapchuk.
Aye.
Christopher Salas.
Aye.
And Paul Rabati. You said aye? 1, 2, 3,
Yes, sir.
4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 8 ayes and 2 nays. The motion passes.
Okay, so December. Okay, we have 2 more we can pick if we want. I think in the summer, if that into that, or just leave one of them. Anybody want May off?
Oh, I thought the intent for the motion was to pass just one for right now and then move forward. But if anybody wants to add to December, right?
Yeah. I don't, actually, Linda, I don't know what the rule is. Can we, like, if we decide this one being August and we want a month off, do it a month in advance, or is the time that you have to say, hey, we're going to take the month off?
Yeah, probably a month in advance so you can at least have a board to decide on that.
Put it on the agenda.
And put it on the agenda
Okay.
for, yeah.
Okay, then we just leave it as December. And then when we get sick of each other, we'll decide again when we need it. Is that okay, you guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor?
We already took that vote,
We
Chair.
already did that, Paul. Paul, we're on
Okay,
the
so
rules of
okay with-
participation.
Rules of participation.
Okey doke. Back to the agenda. It has rules of participation up there. If you see anyone, speak, please your hand. It all stays the same, yeah. The one thing that sometimes bothers me is you have 1 minute to talk, and I don't care who is running the meeting or whatever. 1 minute, and that you you can't just keep talking after they go 1 minute over. To be a little aware of. And then you're two of those want to ask questions. Are you guys okay with that? That's what we're deciding here. Those rules of participation, okay with it? Anybody have any questions?
Rules of participation, okay for everybody? Yeah. Can I get a motion and a second?
I motion to keep the rules the same as they were before.
Cool.
Judy, first move, Judy second.
So that stays there.
Like,
Okey-doke.
any, you can call a vote.
Call the vote,
Yeah.
far away.
No, can you, or you want me to call the vote?
Yes, I don't have a way of knowing that. I have a screen again.
Okay, so the motion is to retain the rules of speaking. All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
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 Any nays? Nays? Any abstentions? That's unanimous. It's unanimous, moving on.
Next, standing committee. This one, a proposal to establish a special affairs committee as necessary to conduct regular board business. Special committee be setting board initiatives and priorities, and one designation of a committee. I know there's one thing's week, and it's talking about the bridge on PBS. And I believe we send one or two people to that. And that's the kind of things I believe the standing committees are for. I think that a couple of people approached me that asked me, and they said they want to do it. And I'm with it. You know, if they want to, go ahead. And as I told them, I said, I'd like to go with you when you do it. But you'll understand that when we get to that portion of this agenda. But the committee, we need one. We'll have to talk about it and go, okay, who would like to do that? I can't think of any other of making or you're on that committee and go, okay, we're going to talk about this. That person says, well, I don't want to talk about that. So I think it'll have to be as needed. Is that okay with you guys?
So Paul, what you're saying is that you wanted to create a zoning or a development committee because the committees have to have a name, right? So I'm thinking about creating a housing committee and helping out with the help of Joanne and making that a priority for one of our boards, for our board, right? Because it sounds like homelessness is a big issue. So I was going to propose a housing committee and help with that committee. But I think what you're talking about is like a zoning committee or a development committee or executive affairs. I'm not sure what you wanted to name it. Because if you just specifically focus on the bridge, that would be considered an ad hoc committee. That would be like a pig.
No, I'm not just saying only focus on that.
No, I got that.
That's what's coming up next week.
Okay. So what kind of a committee would that fit in? It would be like development or zoning, or what do you want to call that committee?
You'd have to come up with a name for it.
You can do zoning, and everything that has to have a permit goes through you or the person that decides to run this committee, right? So if anybody decides to get a permit, it has to go through the zoning committee. Anybody decides to develop, it has to come to this board and go through our zoning committee, just like they do at the city council.
I didn't think of it that way.
That's kind of how
Just the board.
Yeah. So
That'd
again,
be cool.
there's housing, right, which is one of our priorities here at our board. And I wanted to help facilitate that, not as necessarily the chair, but to create a space once a month that people can come and talk about those that are struggling with homelessness, right? So when we come to the board, we're not regurgitating the same thing over and over again.
So let me get this straight. So if it's something that has to do with the demolition of Aloha Stadium, it goes to committee and is the for zoning privileges or something like that. That committee is one group that looks into all those things.
Yes, and if you wanted to take an example, if the Ku'ule project was to have come up, they would have to come to our board and go to our zoning committee. That's exactly where they would go, and then come to the
and then come to the
neighborhood.
Okay.
That's how they do it in a lot of different boards. First, you go to the committee and you hash it out. And then once you're done, you go to the next neighborhood board and you share what you just hashed out instead of hashing it out in the middle of the neighborhood board. That's the goal of the
I like that.
right?
I like that.
So you just got to name it. What do you want to call it as a chair?
Name it as a chair. The fact-finding committee.
It can be executive matters, it can be zoning, it can be development, it can be whatever you want to call it.
Executive matter or
Usually it aligns with one of the committees in the city council. So executive matters, legal affairs, zoning. I'm just trying to facilitate this so we get the best response for our committees, right? We don't want to be that neighborhood board with no committees.
okay, I need some help here. Somebody
I'm trying to ask
Anybody
a
have any-
question for a long time, but nobody sees my hand up.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
put my
we're
hands
still
up
on
there,
board business, that's why.
if you want to entertain it.
Okay. What do you, okay. Can I just ask, is there, I'm just spawning here. What should we name the committee? Any ideas?
Did you want to take Joanne's
Anybody?
question? Did you want to take Joanne's question?
I'm gonna take care of this first. This is more.
I think the housing committee is a great idea. Personally, this is Lindsay.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a chair.
So why don't we call it the housing committee?
But that's not
That'd be
gonna,
great.
that's not gonna have a conversation about your bridge though. That's not where the bridge goes.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about the bridge, right? Or development, right? I'm just trying to help with this.
No, I'm with you, but I just wanted to
So we got
have something to do with, like,
Sorry.
it's a team.
I just want to make sure we're a
It's a-
board that has committees.
Guidelines for the committees?
Is there any guidelines for
What's
this?
that?
The committees, basically, they'll put
They
out,
have to meet once a month.
Yeah.
At least. And find their own location and all that good stuff.
Hmm. I can't answer for this one, actually. Not it. I have to give it more because it encapsulates things that we hear. So it couldn't be called the housing committee because if there are other things that have to do with it, like houseless and what have you, bad roads, I mean, it would have to incorporate everything.
That would be transportation. That would be a
No, I
transportation committee.
I understand that, but if we're gonna do this and make a committee of it, it's got to have the name of all things. Is it, or every meeting we come together, or neighborhood board meeting, we go, okay, we need another committee because we got this going on. So,
Okay, so Chair, I just wanted to make a motion to create the housing committee. You can call your committee development if you want. We can make a movement or a motion to create a housing and a chair committee, or a housing and a development committee.
Yeah.
You can do you can do housing, development, and transportation. You just got to get chairs for it.
That's what I'm saying.
Paul,
Yes.
There you go.
this is Calvin. My thought would
Oh.
be a committee of state and county infrastructure committee. So you cover all infrastructure.
Infrastructure committee. Ooh.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
That
good
puts
one,
it.
Beth.
Do all this.
I like that one.
I have it on my phone.
It's for the committee. It's for the board members to decide. But that was just my thought because you're
Okay.
That's a good.
Okay, I like that one. Okay, all those in favor?
Right, is there a second?
Wait, housing and infrastructure committee? Is it what's the motion?
Housing and infrastructure committee?
It's the city, the state, and city infrastructure committee. So it's broad.
Would that allow us to question housing like the Ku'ule project?
It'll affect everything.
That's what we want.
He's really right.
Okay.
How about
cool.
just something more, even more general, like planning and zoning?
Oh, that's a good one. Because you can catch it before the permit. That's good. Planning and zoning.
I mean, I infrastructure might be too narrow because it would probably exclude housing.
Other boards have planning and zoning committees.
Yeah, but so the housing wouldn't fall under infrastructure unless it's a development. I don't know, so the housing would be specifically for housing, like those looking for housing. I'm not sure. What do you think, Chair? Chair, it's your call. Sorry, I'm the secretary.
Yeah, I like Calvin's idea, but Wookie's got me a little bit better. Wookie, what was that title of that one?
Planning and zoning.
That's the one. Plan and zoning. It covers just everything.
So Chair, I make a motion to create a planning and zoning committee and a housing committee. And if anybody wanted to add their own committee. I think housing is.
No, I just want to keep it planning and zoning for right now.
Wait, what?
Because that was what Wookie said. Planning and zoning.
Yeah, that's for the
And then-
bridge. That's
No,
for
no,
development, that's for housing coming in. For homelessness, that's a housing issue.
That's development for anything that's coming up.
That's not planning and development.
You can have more than one committee, Chair.
You need to have more than one committee. You cannot put everything into one committee. Their agenda is going to be worse than the board.
I hear you. So we want to.
Normally,
want
a
to-
neighborhood board would have, zoning, they would have housing, and they would have transportation. What else? The same thing as the city council. They can even have executive matters and legal affairs if you want. But instead of getting it really convoluted, you can have planning and zoning, which specifically focuses on infrastructure, and you can have housing, which specifically focuses on housing and those that are struggling with homelessness.
Okay, we'll go with that then.
But the motion on the
Seems
floor,
like you-
okay. So the motion on the floor was for a planning and zoning committee and a housing committee, seconded by Chris.
Okay. Okay.
And I propose that we amend so that it's housing and homelessness committee.
Good
Just to
deal.
clarify that we're not just talking about housing, but also homelessness.
Home.
Perfect.
Okay. I like that better.
I agree. That makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna take the vote, Chair. So the motion is for a planning and zoning committee and a housing and homeless committee. Seconded by Chris. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Unanimous.
It's a good teamwork.
Okay, we're done there?
And
Do you wanna assign a chair to this committee's housing?
Fuck that shit. I'm not interested though. Yep, exactly. You want to establish a committee? Well, you figure out who's gonna be your chair.
There you go.
so
Okay,
Chair,
motion.
I make a motion to be the chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee.
I'll second that motion.
I like that myself. Because it seems like you have passion for that one.
Oh yeah, I've been dealing with homelessness for 9 years now, all on the Waianae coast. I know.
That's
about
why.
it.
Okay. I like that too. I second it.
And the resources
myself.
too I can bring to the table.
Okay.
And work with Joanne, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Work with Joanne.
And so with Joanne as a member of the
Yes.
committee. Okay.
I'll figure out when she's got time, because I know she's just as passionate as I am.
But the motion is Luis Caldera as the chair for the Housing and Houselessness Committee. Seconded by Angie Solomon.
Houselessness. Okay, I changed it. Nice.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions?
Okay, planning and zoning, that's gonna be fun.
Unanimous. And then did you want to also have a chair, somebody chair the Planning and Zoning Committee?
There you go. Planning and zoning.
That one is hard. That's one hard.
I think that one's really hard. We got some good guys here.
I
But
mean, you
it's,
can co-chair. You can do co and vice chair right now. Like 2 people can help or something like that. You can do something like that. You don't have to have just a chair. Because at some point I gotta go find me a vice chair.
yeah.
I'll help you, Louis.
Okay, I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, I mean, if there's nobody that wants to be a chair of the committee, I guess you could visit it at the next meeting, so we can move on with the agenda.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I did something bad. Joanne, did you have your hand still raised?
Yes, I wanted to ask a question way before this started. So I'm kind of concerned about a particular board member, and conflict of interest is something that I don't think should be, a board member should be on here. So I want to bring that up.
Okay, we're gonna have to take a time out there because as I told you, I gave you information to go to the neighborhood board.
I did.
This you don't have. Then.
But I thought it would be best to discuss it, not just something, not just my opinion.
It's like I said, it's nothing that, no, it's not.
Oh yeah, that's a formal complaint with NCO.
Yeah, that's not us.
That's not public.
We can't be involved in it.
That would be rude.
Okay, I'll just do it on my own.
Formal complaint.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then I guess Tom had Tom had his hand up.
What's that?
Tom has his hand up.
Tom.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a procedural comment real quick, if you will. This meeting has devolved in a number of ways, and I just wish to caution the board to help your chair. As I understand it, by watching, your chair cannot see the screen and therefore is unable to call on people and that kind of stuff. And as you have folks in the meeting room, whether it's a vice chair, whether it's a secretary or whatever, somebody needs to work in concert with the chair to make sure that all other speakers, members, and the public are appropriately recognized and given an opportunity to participate. Secondly, there was a comment by one member a few moments ago that a particular item was board business only, and the intimation was that no public comment was appropriate. Please keep in mind that every item on the agenda the public can comment on and must be invited to comment on under Hawaii Revised Statutes, Chapter 92. So last quick comment, because people cannot see each other, particularly your chair, and remember that one person should be speaking at a time after being recognized by the chair who can't see you. I urge you to please identify yourself when you first talk so that the chair can call on you, whatever. Okay, this is a very difficult meeting, so at least try to make it move a little bit more smoothly that way. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Okay. Now we're back to this. Okay, Government and Administration Liaison, Board of Water Supply. Do we have anybody for water supply? Yes, no,
Doesn't look like it.
nobody.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Michael O'Keefe is represented.
Aloha, everyone. Mike O'Keefe, Deputy Director with the Department of Environmental Services, Mayor's Rep. So I'm just going to go through a couple of brief updates, answer some questions from last meeting, and then I'm going to yield the balance of my time to Edward Los Baños, Deputy Director at the city's Department of Community Services, who's going to provide the board with an update on the Waikiki Vista project. Briefly, I'm going to drop a link in the chat for the mayor's monthly newsletter that has various highlights in it. The city's Department of Budget and Fiscal Services wants to let homeowners know about the real property tax credit program and the action that the city council took to increase the income limit for this program from $60,000 to $80,000 per year. This $20,000 increase allows a large number of homeowners to apply for this credit who had incomes over the previous $60,000 limit. You will need to apply for this credit. Tax credit applications are now available at www.honolulu.gov/treasury and at all satellite city hall locations. Flyers with more information are available at the sign-in table. Note applicants who filed last year their applications were mailed on July 14th. The application deadline for this year is October 2nd, 2023. If you qualify for the credit, the tax credit will be applied to your property tax bill that you receive in July of 2024. So I'm going to jump right into some Q&A, follow-up from last meeting. There's a question about bumps on University Avenue, specifically around the 900 block of University. On the Makai-bound lane of University, tree roots are beginning to significantly warp the road. So the city's Department of Facility Maintenance responded to that item and noted that they're assessing that portion of University, and they're working with the city's Department of Parks and Rec, their division of urban forestry, to schedule road repair work. Work's going to be scheduled when the resources are available. And in the future, somewhat longer term, the city's Department of Design and Construction has plans to rehabilitate University Avenue as part of the Rehabilitation of Streets project. More follow-up on Kalo Mini Park. There was a comment last meeting about that more than just additional lighting at the park is needed. The bigger issue might be people loitering at night, playing music, fighting, loud yelling, cursing, etc. What can be done to take the park back for the community was the question. And there was a specific request for more police presence and earlier closure hours for the park. HPD responded to that. They made checks at Kalo Mini Park periodically over the last month. At the time of the checks, officers did not observe anyone in the park in the after hours time period. They'll continue to make checks and take appropriate action when violations are observed. As always, they encourage the community members to call 911. At the time, people are in the park during park closure hours so that responding officers can take immediate actions. Next, there was a question about the status of Top Golf potentially coming to the Alawai Golf Course. City's Department of Enterprise Services said that Top Golf is no longer, that project is no longer proceeding. The subject of raised crosswalks fronting schools. Can there be a raised crosswalk at the intersection? This was a question that was asked last meeting. There'd be a raised crosswalk at the intersections near Kuhio School, at the intersection of Waiaka Road and Kuile Street, and Alawai School at the intersection along Hihiwai Street. City's Department of Transportation Services responded. They'll conduct an investigation to determine if raised crosswalks are appropriate based on roadway geometrics, traffic speeds, and volumes, number of lanes, and surrounding development. If a roadway meets the criteria for a raised crosswalks, they're going to prioritize that location and either program for their installation or request assistance from the State Department of Transportation. There was another follow-up question. This is the second to last question from the previous meeting. 2 meetings ago, there was a question about whether or not Alawai Golf Course was going to be used as a staging area for the Alapono Bridge project. The response was, at that time, was no. Someone asked to double check on that because they had heard it reported at another neighborhood board meeting that it was in fact going to be used, the Alawai Golf Course was in fact going to be used as a staging area for the Alapono project. And the short answer is no, it's not going to be used for staging for the Alapono Bridge project. However, it will be used for staging for an upcoming roof reconstruction project at the golf course and pedestrian and then another bridge project that's at the golf course as well, but not the Alapono Bridge project. Last but not least, there was a comment. There are 3 upcoming projects within the boundary of the neighborhood board: the Alapono Bridge project, Kuile Place, and Complete Streets. Are these projects going to create a financial hardship for the city and be a drain on city finances? So Department of Budget and Fiscal Services responded to this one. The Alapono Bridge project and the Complete Streets project, which are implemented by Transportation Services, are included in the city's 6-year capital improvement program, which is updated annually. So they're already programmed in the long-range capital plan. The Kuile Place condominium project is being undertaken by a private developer, the Kobayashi Group, as this board knows. So the cost for that specific development will be borne by the developer. That's it for my update. And before I turn it over to Edward, I'm happy to take any questions.
I have my hand up.
Okay, anybody on the board have any questions for the mayor's rep?
Wookie has his hand
Not
up.
so much, not so much a question, just a comment. Mike, just appreciate your diligence in following up on all of the many questions and follow-up requests that board members and other residents make. So thank you.
No problem.
Anybody else on the board?
Not in person.
Okay. Okay. Then we'll go to the floor. Okay, any questions?
Joanne has her hand up.
Joanne?
Okay, so I visited the mayor a couple of times in person already to talk about the homeless issue, and I haven't heard any response yet. He was supposed to come down and take a look. But anyway, to you, I was wondering, as far as the parks are concerned, why can't you, this sounds bad, but maybe build a gate around those parks and lock it at night, lock the bathrooms. Everybody has to be out of there at a certain time. There are signs posted, says no camping, no tenting, no loitering, everything else, and that they're breaking the law because there are signs that said you'll be imprisoned or there'll be fines, but none of that is happening. So I would suggest maybe you do that, and also, or put like cameras up there, have a guard around there as well too, because that's the only way this is going to work, where the park is going to be emptied out and not trashed every day. And also, why don't you have, what's her name? Denise Iseri Matsubara come to these meetings as well, because I would like to ask her a few questions. She's the new housing coordinator, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. I think she should show up to these board meetings, especially our area and some others.
Okay.
Thanks. I'll take your comments back.
Can you get me an answer next month?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Michael. We'll see you.
Aloha and good evening. My name is
Next
Edward Los Banos. Like Mike mentioned, I'm the Deputy Director for Department of Community Services. He mentioned that this board has a vested interest in the Waikiki Vista project that falls under the jurisdiction of my department. So I have two updates for you.
Who's this now? Oh, wait, who is this?
This is Edward Los Banos. He's the Deputy Director, Department of Community Services. I mentioned that he's going to provide an update on the Waikiki Vista project.
Oh, there's nothing on our agenda for that one.
We had
Okay.
we checked with the NCO that if it would be okay to just have him provide a real quick update on the end of the mayor's refs report, and it was okay. Sorry, I should have let you know, actually.
Okay, let's we'll give him 3 minutes on this one, I guess.
Thanks,
Chair.
Chair.
I'll keep it brief. I have two brief updates. The first off on Waikiki Vista. Later on this month, we hope to issue a solicitation for a property manager to operate the building, and we hope to start lease ups early this fall on the building. If you recall, the building has 105 units that can be studio units for affordable housing. The mayor's also working with the governor to collaborate on positioning this building to not only address affordable housing, but we're also working to set aside some units for housing for families experiencing homelessness. The situation for families experiencing homelessness, in the shelters where they're staying at, they spend about 225 to 318 days in shelters just because of the constrained inventory on family housing. So we think it's a better situation for them. We think we will get a lot more interest and we'll have better results with them rather than being a congregate shelter. So if in this collaboration, looking for the state to help provide funding for wraparound services in this building, to have services on site in this building that's owned and operated by the city and county of Honolulu. Again, we hope it's going to have a great positive impact, and we'll keep you posted on that. But that's a collaboration that's ongoing right now, and hope to have this building filled up by the end of this year.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, University of Elmer.
We have a question.
Elmer?
We have a question,
Oh,
Chair.
I didn't know that. Okay, who has the question?
Is there a board person?
In person. I'm sorry?
Oh, I thought you said you had.
Oh, no, we're just letting you know, but if you wanted to speak in the mic, you got to come up here.
My name's Karen Lynn, and I'm a Mōʻiliʻili resident. I just had a question. The Waikiki Vista project is the one on Kapiolani Boulevard, the old Tokai University. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
You said you're soliciting a project manager now and you are looking to start at the end of this year on the renovation, or what exactly?
So property manager, we're hoping to secure a property manager sometime in the next 2 months, and we're hoping to start leasing up the building and filling those units sometime this fall.
Okay, and the total number of units is 105, or was that just the affordable, or is the whole building to be affordable?
Whole building is affordable.
Okay.
The 105 former dorm units are affordable, will be affordable. We're still working on a plan for the commercial floors that were formerly the classrooms.
And is there a place on the city and county website that describes this project? Or how can we get more information about it?
That's a great question. We'll get that. I'll get you that information, and we'll get a link up there on our website for you.
Okay, and so how can we find that out?
Let me work with the neighborhood aid assistant over there, and we'll try and get the information out to the community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Edward.
Okay. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I
Who
didn't catch
is
this.
it?
Joanne.
This is your last, yes, your last one here on this one.
No, I didn't even ask him a question. Anyway, what is this name? I forgot.
Edward Los Banos.
Edward. Can you spell your last name?
LOS, B as in boy, ANOS.
Okay, I just have a comment. You know, why is it that you in Mōʻiliʻili we have to constantly have all these homeless shelters and homeless? We have like what is that on Young and Eisenberg transitional housing? You know, can't you put them in some other people's backyard instead of just ours? I'm a NIMBY, okay? Part of me is a NIMBY because we have enough in our area. I know of many of these places here, and there's a lot of problems. You're not putting people who don't have drug problems and many other things, okay? Mental illnesses, and they shouldn't be in our backyard right now. They should be in some kind of institution. That's my opinion. So if you're going to put them in our backyard, can you put them in others too? Because Tokai University is a nice building. So to have it turn into like a homeless shelter, it's pretty sad. So I would like you to put it into other places as well. Can't you put them in other districts? Maybe Kahala, Manoa, those places.
So to be clear, we're not
Everybody
operating
should
a
have-
shelter. It'll be a stabilization, and you know the families will be kind of independent, but there definitely will be wraparound services,
What kind of wraparound services?
things to get the family stabilized and into a better place.
So you're not talking about drug addictions?
You know, we'll meet the families where they're at and give them the address the problems that they have, and you know, it's not anybody's intent to justify them living in a studio apartment, but it is better than a congregate shelter, especially for the duration they spend.
Are you talking about people who are working people, or people who have drug addictions is what I'm asking.
Going to be the family demographics. So a lot of family demographics, you do have working parents. They're just trying to make ends meet.
What
and
about
afford
drug
housing for their
addicts?
families.
Drug addicts.
Hey, wrap it up.
Just answer me yes or no that question. That's it. Yes
It's
or
going to be a
no.
part of this. We don't have a firm program yet. We're trying to work that out.
Can you give me
Okay.
the
Thing that we're going
answer?
to work towards.
I want to answer yes or no. That's it.
That's it, Joanne.
I didn't even get an answer.
Chair, can I make a
That's
comment?
it. Yes.
I just wanted to comment in response to
Who is
the.
this?
This is Morgan,
Okay.
member Morgan. I just wanted to make a comment that I understand that there can be challenges of having feel like our neighborhood is singled out in some ways, but I also think that our neighborhood makes a lot of sense. to put people of all incomes here because of the accessibility that we have to so many things in this neighborhood, including public transit, access to grocery stores, other services that other neighborhood people being relocated to other neighborhoods would find it much more challenging to access those areas. So I personally am in support of this decision based on pragmatics for the communities we're trying to help.
With you on that also. Okay. All righty, thank you very much. And we're going to move this right along. Oh, there, Elmer.
Aloha, Chair.
Can you hear?
Hello, everyone. I'm McCully. I'm actually going to pass my presentation to Associate Athletic Director Vince Baltimore. We're going to have a very busy upcoming August with a lot of activities on the lower campus, and I want to give him time to kind of share what's going on with the UH Athletic Department. Go ahead, Vince.
Thanks, Elmer. I chair, board members, community members. My name is Vince. I'm the Associate AD for External Affairs, which basically means, anything that really works with the community and the public, from ticketing and marketing and fundraising and corporate partners and, areas like that. So, I think I've been in front of this group before, probably around the same time before the school year begins. And the fact that I'm here means it's almost go time. We've got women's soccer starting, I think, August 17th at YPO. We have women's volleyball the week after that. And then football starts September 1. So there's a lot of action on campus. Students are slowly coming back. They've been training. I think the first official day of school is August 21st. So, watch out for traffic. So that'll start around that time once classes are back in session. But we're excited. It's always a great buzz when the students and schools back in session. And we're excited about hosting the events and really showcasing the university out there in the community and nationally. We have increased the stadium from 9,300 seats to about 15,000. And we plan to have an open house to all fans that are interested August 12th. So that will be about 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. August 12th. So fans can come in, take a look at the new stadium if they're interested in, meeting the football team or seeing what the seats look like. It's free, open, and just kind of the first taste of what the football season should look like. I didn't really have anything other than just to answer questions if needed, but do appreciate the support that this board has, and hope we can continue to work together throughout the year.
Thank you for that. Do we have questions for UH? Any? Elmer, sign off?
Go ahead.
Elmer?
Yes, go ahead.
Anything?
Oh, no.
Anything
I just wanted to also reiterate that the campus will be starting to be very active. We do have a lot of projects in line. At our next meeting in September, I will give you a latest update of all of the projects that is ongoing on campus, including the new Sinclair. We closed Sinclair area, the library, because we're going to start develop it. We actually closed that off now. We are looking for you, Laura. We actually are looking for a new person to take over Roxanne's space, because we do need a very certified landscaper and so on for that area, so we don't ignore that area. But yes, I'll have more in September, Chair.
That's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next. The governor's representative. Matthew, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt DeBonch. I'm the governor's representative. So as far as the Q&A from last time, Laura, I believe you were the one who asked the question of whether there is a plan to do a Kauhale project in Palolo Valley. I believe that's where you had inquired about, and I did check with James Koshiba, and he says that at this point there are no plans for any such project in Palolo Valley. But if anybody knows of any land that would be suitable for that purpose, he would be happy to consider it. So I believe that's the only question that I had from last time. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you have for me tonight.
Okay, anybody on the board have any questions for the governor's rep?
Not in person.
Nobody?
I have a question, Paul. This is Morgan.
Sure, go ahead.
And I don't know if this is the correct person to ask this to, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I know I had asked questions about libraries earlier. Are you someone I should ask about libraries?
Yeah, you can ask about libraries and I'll try to find an answer for you.
Okay. I was just wondering if there two things. One, what was kind of the thought process when creating some of like the study areas for libraries? I was in the McCully Library recently and the Kaimaki Library recently, and neither of those have any outlets in their study areas. So I didn't know if there was some larger reason behind that decision, especially since the McCully Library just got remodeled. And then also if that was something that we could actually go about pushing for or encouraging, at least at some of the work areas.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to try to find out.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? No? Going once?
Oh, you can't see me.
Joanne has a hand
I
up.
have a question.
Okay.
Matt, I've been calling the governor's office more than hundreds of times. Anyway, you have all these people, Paul, who else I talked to? I can't remember all their names, but passing on the message, but then there's nobody responding. Is this how government works with Josh Green? And then I also tried to call James Koshiba's office too. There's nobody responding. Nobody answers his phone. Before the previous homeless coordinator, Scott Murshigi and Justin Limasa, at least you would get a response. With James Koshiba, there is no response. Emails don't come for like months later. Governor's office does not return phone calls either. So what's going on there?
Joanne, I know that you had asked a few months ago about James Koshiba's voice mailbox because it was full and you weren't able to leave him a message. He did tell me that he cleaned out that mailbox, and I don't know if you've been able to even leave him messages since. But I do understand that you're having trouble reaching him, and I'll follow up with him in the governor's office about your experience.
Because what I'm trying to prevent is from you guys building more affordable housing and transitional homes in our neighborhood. Whether other people agree with having it here, I don't like it. I've been here 50 years. I can see the makeup changing a lot, and it does cause a lot of problems. I live across people that yelling and screaming at night, fighting at night, and I think they're Section 8 people. So you know what? I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. Seeing people running down the street, losing their mind. I don't need that. I need peace of mind too. So my question is, what about us? Okay, so have him answer me that question. What about us?
Thank you.
Okay, can you answer me? And then I'll call your office tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, give me your email in the chat room, please. Can I have your email?
Yes, of course.
The chat room. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay. Let's see. With K. Okay, Mr. Councilman.
Okay, am I on, Paul?
Yes, I
Can hear you.
I'll be very brief. I've really enjoyed tonight's discussion. I think Michael Keefe did a great job in ending off all the issues that was discussed last month. And, I think everyone, as far as the University of Hawaii, Elmer, along with Edward Los Banos in regards to the Waikiki Vista project, we have tried our best to address these issues. I can say for you, I can address issues in the district that we talked about earlier. 767 Paani Street, 1807 Wyola Street, Houston Street, homeless at 1 Kalakaua Avenue, senior retirement home, Kaulo Place, Kaulo Park, once more, the homeless situation, Old Stadium Park, and finally Kaho'a Aloha Lane and the decommissioning of crosswalks installed as not as a crosswalk. So those are just some of the issues that I've been addressing, but more importantly, everything that members may have and the public, I'll be happy to respond to any questions.
Okay, board members, anybody have a question for council member Mr. Sen?
Not that I can see.
Anybody? Any in the, yes, anybody?
Joanna has her hand up.
Hey, Calvin,
Joanne?
I have
Yeah.
I have called you several times. I get to see the mayor in person, but I don't get to see you in person. So maybe we can schedule a meeting. And by the way,
Yes.
You got a raise. You got a 60% raise. I expect you to work harder in this district to clean it up because I see more problems than good. And the only good project to me in this area coming up is the Kuile place. At least it will make this place beautiful. And you know what? What kind of people you put into the area is what it becomes, and I can see what it has become. That's my comment to you, and hopefully you will answer my phone calls and make a meeting with me because, hey, if I can see the mayor, shouldn't I be able to see you first?
All right, Joanne. I'll do my best. I'll talk to my secretary to set up a meeting with you, with the staff. Got staff here with me also, but I'm just happy that you are concerned about the issues in regards to homelessness. And what can I say? I was shocked last week when ACLU did file a lawsuit against the city and county of Honolulu.
Totally. That the ACLU is nothing but a problem.
No.
They're not a solution. They're the problem. If they're gonna file a lawsuit, be the solution, not the problem. That's my comment.
Okay, but I apologize if I didn't get a chance to meet with you in person. I can also share with you that this morning for about 2 hours, we were at the Alawai Promenade in addressing the homeless problems there. And we did work it out with the Department of Parks and Recreation and other departments in trying to resolve the issue as far as the homeless at the Alawai Promenade, Alawai Park, Spring Park. There's so many different homeless encampments, and I think all of you know that. And that's what I've said before in the past. And for the new members of the board, learn as much as you can about what has happened in the past and move forward because you've got a great old-time board members who are educated in the issues that we have in the Mōʻiliʻili McCully district. People have asked me about what's happening to Honu, what's happening to CORE. We are trying to do our best to find more funding for Honu, which is a city project once more in regards to providing healthcare and medical issues for the homeless. CORE is another new program that we are trying to use our ambulances that are not the regular ambulances, but the red ones that you see in addressing the homeless situation, rather than having the EMS go and pick them up and take them to Queens Hospital where we have a psychiatric ward. It's an endless cycle that we go through, and I just have to say that with your presence here, all of you this evening, it's a reflection that you are concerned about the general public at large and the people that we live with. So, closing, we're trying our best to determine what we're going to do with Kaulo Park, which is the lower campus of the University of Hawaii. We are trying to do our best to look at Mōʻiliʻili Field, Stadium Park, and I must say that For those of you who support the Molodrome project, it is going to be going up for the full council for their final vote. And that is for the Hawaiian Homes lessees. So in closing, we are, as a city and county of Honolulu, doing our very best with Michael Keefe, with Edward Los Panos, and everyone that was before us, our police department, our fire department, etc. So thank you very much, Paul.
Okay, any questions?
Daisy has her hand up.
Okay,
Hi, Daisy.
Hi, Kelvin.
Hi.
Thanks, Chair. My question is, there's three big projects of affordable housing, right?
Yes.
The Bolodrome, the Kuili Place, supposed to be affordable for
Yes.
those that can afford it. And of course, you know about the new rental one from the Pahoa Ridge.
They'll be making a presentation this evening. Yes.
Yes, okay. The question is, with all these within 2 miles proximity of each other, and they're huge, it can be like 600 to maybe 7,000 people plus in that area, small area. My question is, how are the city going to take care of the infrastructure? Gordon Further mentioned about that, I'm not sure if I heard correctly, but Director Law mentioned at the Manoa board something about that there's some kind of exemption for affordable projects, housing projects. I'm not sure. I could be mistaken, but I don't see how they are getting exemption when it's everybody else is paying. So you need to take care of the roads and all the other infrastructure because traffic in those small sections is going to be all compounded with people coming out of Waikiki to Kapahulu Avenue, Kapilani Boulevard, Wailai, UH, Manoa, etc. So you need to really think about all this infrastructure working together before you approve any of these big, huge projects within such a small area. So I hope the council members really look hard and then think before they approve any kind of development because it's the word affordable, which is being overused now. So we really need to make sure it's truly affordable. So I would like to make sure that DPP also make sure on DTS that everybody is taking care of the accessibility and the infrastructure, which is all key to this Mōʻiliʻili area because it completely changed. Thank you.
AC, thank you very much for your statements. You're correct. And I'll be very candid and honest. A lot of times our city council members depend on what department? The Department of Planning and Permitting, because they go through the development process in getting the water supply allocation. They go and get the sewer assessment fees. They have to get all of these waivers, which is a state law. It's not a city and county law on the 201H. And that's what you're talking about, these exemptions and waivers of fees. That if I do not support a particular project, we're not supporting these exemption and waivers, and probably you'll not get these affordable housing projects also. And I'm happy that I'll be listening tonight about the Pahoa Ridge one, and all of you will get a chance to hear what they have to present. And I believe last month they did share a thought because there was a discussion in regards to one of our board members saying that he supports the project 100% because it's 60% AMI and below. And for the new members of the board, AMI means the average median income in that particular area and is tied to not state or county ordinances or laws, but HUD, Housing Urban Development, which is a federal program. Okay, thank you.
And then Chair Joanna has her hand up. I don't know if you're asking another question or you
I
left it
get
up.
to ask another question, right?
Okay.
this is it.
So this is it. So this is to you, Calvin. So I really want to know what you have plans for in Mōʻiliʻili because all I hear is affordable this, affordable that. Why does everything have to be in our area affordable transitional? Like, can you put up a luxury building around here too that makes it nicer? I would love that. Like I said, bringing in better people into our area might help me to have less irritating neighbors around me. I've
Joanne,
lived it, like I said,
Joanne,
50 years. I didn't have this kind of neighbors before.
No, but Joanne,
that's terrible. Man.
It's evolution, but times are changing. But it was District 5 that was part of the overall development plans as far as being the primary urban center. Where you're going to have development will be in the primary urban center, primarily because of all of the present infrastructures that we have in place. Some of them will be replaced, some of them will not, but it will be at the cost of the developer also. My point to you is that, you know, right now, I don't believe in pointing fingers at my other colleagues, but for the windward side, you want to keep the country, all of you, that's what you have to consider in the global perspective. You want to keep Central Oahu agriculture. That's another issue that we have to address. And that's why I'm just saying to you, when I inherited District 5, I inherited a area whereby with the development plans that were adopted many years ago, that East Honolulu, or the primary urban center of Honolulu, will be the area where you should have the development and keep it there. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But all I'm saying, Joanne, I'm just following what was adopted in the past years by our previous city council members and administration.
So what is coming by Puck Sally?
Pucks Alley, that's Kamehameha Schools that I really don't know, but it's not going to be a project that is going to be so large that it changes the faces of, you know.
Is it
Puck
supposed to
Sally.
be a nicer project, like a shopping area?
Joanne, there was never a presentation made before me or any of the council members, so I really don't know. It was just in concept that they made the proposal. But I'm happy if it's just 3 or 4 stories. Keep it the way it is today. But there may be other demands and pressures to have it go up. And that's the discussion you all will have to have. Like that building, Raising Cane, I recall it was a Aikido or a Jiu-Jitsu operation on the 2nd floor. And today we have this particular condominium or student housing that is there. But the residents have always complained to me that the roadway is not being kept to the standards that they thought they would like to. And that's the kind of issues I do address with Janelle, Melvia, Brandon, and Judy every day. So like I said today, for 2 hours, we're at the Alawai Promenade in front of the Yacht Harbor Tower, adjacent to the Alawai Canal, all the way up to the area of where the convention center is, where the homeless is also congregated. So that's just part of what I deal with. And I want to say thank you to all of you, really, because at least you have been very patient. And I'm trying my best with the limited resources I have. Okay, Joanne, I promise you that I'll talk to Judy and the staff that we'll set up a meeting with you to talk stories.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay, I have to go to another meeting in the morning, okay, before
I'll leave a message.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, here we go.
This chokes me to say this, but Joanne, there's some very nice people in this neighborhood as it is.
Did I say? I didn't say they were bad neighbors, but if you come to where I live and go live across the street of these people that live right across from me, yelling and screaming every other night, then you'll find out why I'm so angry. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
walk in my shoes, then talk, because you haven't.
Yes.
I don't deserve to live this way either. Homeless don't deserve to live in a certain way, but they made choices. Some of them made bad choices. That's not for me to
Point of
debate.
order, Chair, point of order. This is decorum. This is unacceptable. She should be referring everything to the chair.
Thank you.
This is unnecessary roughness. But carry on.
Okay, anybody else have anything to say? Let's know. Representative Andrew Garrett.
Hi, Chair. Just in the interest of time, I don't have a formal report, but I just wanted to let you guys know, you may have heard that there are going to be some security enhancements at the state capitol. They're going to put in metal detectors to match, 40 other states that have this kind of protective measure in place. You guys can obviously understand why that's necessary. It was supposed to go into effect this coming Monday, but we just were notified that there's actually going to be delayed indefinitely due to some electrical issues with the building. So we'll let you know when these security measures go into place. So, and I don't think there were any questions for me last month, but I'll just stop here and see if there are any for me at this time. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Anybody have any questions for Representative Garrett?
Joanne has her hand up.
Fast question, fast comment to you. I guess the security measure is to protect you guys, right?
Well, it's for the legislators, yes, is for one, but also the staff and other visitors that are there. So anyone who ever, sets foot in the building, would be for their protection.
Think about the community that needs protection too, okay?
Okay, thanks for the comment.
Yeah.
And then Morgan has her hand up, Chair.
Okay, Morgan?
Hi, Representative Garrett. I just wanted to find out more information about the metal detectors. When you said, you made some comment about like, it's understandable why other places had them up. Could you give more context? I only say that because as someone who has not lived here my entire life, Hawaii actually feels more insulated and protected from other places. And so,
right.
I don't know. To me, I'm just always have a visceral reaction to metal detectors and added security measures to things.
Sure. No, thanks for the question, Morgan. So in terms of context, so just to make it clear, this is a project run by the executive branch. So the state capitol is actually under the jurisdiction of the Department of Accounting and General Services, DAGS as it's known. I think one of the factors here that they're probably factoring in, and again, I don't want to speak on their behalf, but it's the fact that we do have the concealed carry law in place now. So, although there's HPD is going through the requests for those permits and whatnot, I think that's probably one factor, just to make sure that, even though it is by design meant to be very opening and accommodating, that, in this day and age, there are still security concerns. If you go to any federal building in town, these kind of metal detectors are in place just as a standard practice. So that was what I meant by in terms of, being understandable why they're pursuing this.
Gotcha. Thank you for explaining that. And you might not be the right person to ask this, so feel free to pass.
Sure.
So they're gonna at some point put up the metal detectors, assuming that they can figure out the electricity situation. What is the latest update as far as like the actual kind of security infrastructure around the Capitol right now? Is there a timeline for that to get taken down or be a decision to be made about that?
Sure, all great questions, but I will respectfully pass. I think the governor's rep is probably in the best position to ask DAGS directly as to how the timeline. We were just basically informed in the last day or two that this was going to be delayed yet again due to these challenges. But again, it falls under DAGS's jurisdiction, of course, within close coordination of the Public Safety Department and the sheriffs that protect the building.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan.
Anybody else? Hands up?
Not that I can see.
Okay, Representative, thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next month.
Representative. Okay, Representative Scott Nishimoto.
Thank you. I'm in person, Chair. I want to welcome the board to a new term. For those board members that I've worked with in the past, I look forward to continuing to work with you. To the new board members, I look forward to starting a relationship and working with you also, especially Oreo here. Lewis's dog. In the interest of time, I will just open it up to questions.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, this is Taylor Date. She will represent me when I am not at the board meetings. At the Alawana board, they said they like her a lot better than they liked me. And, hey, I agree with them wholeheartedly.
Is she your office manager?
She's my office manager, yeah. So, and when you call our office, she's the one that you will talk to. And I'll open it up for questions.
Okay, anybody have questions for Representative Nishimoto?
Joanne has her hand up.
Hey, Joanne.
Hey, Scott. Well, I've been calling your office. I've been talking to Taylor a long time. And
Yep.
You did write that bill up for me, the HB 813, which was killed by, I think, Della Bellotti. So I would ask that you continue to discuss this with her, because I have tried to call her office numerous times to find the reason why she did that. And I have not had a return call for, maybe the past 6 months or so. She's busy, she's doing this, but I guess she has another job as well too. So I would ask you if you could go and ask her, because in San Diego, they have passed this bill that sort of the bill that you made that would help to make this a misdemeanor to have homeless people lying on the streets or in the parks. And she killed it without even any explanation. So San Diego has passed something like this. And I think it would be in the best interest of our area if a bill like this would pass, because then the police would have more tools in their toolbox to do something to help us get back into using these parks for what it was meant to be, not for an encampment and not for anything else. I mean, drug dealing and other things. So I would ask you to pursue this.
So yeah, I introduced that bill on your behalf, Joanne. The bill is not dead. It carries over to the next session. So you know, it still has a chance next year, because the bill carries over. So it's still alive.
Fight for it then.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Representative Nishimoto?
None that I can see.
Oh, we haven't.
Oh,
Okay,
we don't have one.
very much.
We can
Thank
get you the bill number. I don't have it.
Joanne, what is the bill?
Taylor can get you the bill number tomorrow.
HB 813.
Okey doke. Next, Representative Adrian Tam.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. I put the August newsletter into the chat box. It details several events going on in Waikiki and some condo issues. But in the interest of time, I would like to open it up to any questions you may have for me.
Okay, anybody on the board have any questions? Any questions on the floor?
That one,
Nope, doesn't-
we have one resident in person.
Karen Lynn again, and this is not just for Representative Tam, but anybody who is who attends virtually. Obviously here in person, we don't have access, and people who look at or watch the video later don't have access to the chat. So I'm wondering if anything is dropped into the chat, if there's a way for that to be uploaded onto the Google Drive or otherwise made available to those of us who.
So for the most part, if they send us newsletters and stuff, it's uploaded to the Google Drive, the Work Google Drive.
Okay, well, and I looked at that today and previously and haven't seen any, so maybe I could get with you after the meeting and find out. That would be good information, just maybe put in.
So for my newsletter, you can actually access it through the Capitol website. So it's capitol.hawaii.gov, and each member has a personal site on there to look at and get their contact information. So it's up there.
So we have to look at 5 or 6 different.
Sorry, what? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear the question.
I'm just interested in a consolidated place where in the old days when we had in-person meetings, there's a lot of value to virtual meetings also, but all the information would be available in one place rather than going to each individual website to get the information the way it is. Just basically a comment. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Questions? No? Okay, Representative, thank you very much. Next. Senator Les Ihara.
Oh, he's here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello, Chair, members. That's Les Ihara. I represent the area partially in the Senate. As you know, the legislature is adjourned until January, but the Senate will be going back in session to confirm judges. We'll be back August 21st and 22nd to confirm 5 Oahu judges, 4 Oahu judges, 1 circuit court and 3 district court judges on those 2 days.
Cool.
I'm starting my 4-year term, and I'm beginning to help more in building community capacity and to give the community voice in many of the projects. This area has a lot of projects. And what Councilmember Say was saying, this is the reason is this is the fill area. This is where there's been proposal in the past where you can raise, build many areas, low rises, and then build up by rezoning and so forth. So that's been a contentious issue. The city has backed off and have generic plans. Before there were plans that really had specifics. Now it's a more general plan. And one of the things I'll be doing is resurrecting an organization I formed in 1997, the Alawai Mōʻiliʻili McCully Neighbors. Back then, that was its purpose is to give voice to the community voices, not just individuals, but collective voices. Back then, we participated in fighting the 138 kV lines that were like tall poles up on Waihila Ridge. And the impetus behind this, my resurrecting the group and staffing it and supporting to build community capacity is Laura Ruby. And her interest in addressing concerns about another tall structure, the Alawai Bridge project with 180 foot wires lit up. These are city issues. I don't have a vote on it in the Senate, but I'm here to support the community giving voice, because when the community doesn't, people get really upset. And I know Kuilei Place, I get a lot of calls about Kuilei Place. And I figured out, I did some research, figured out what's behind that a little bit. In October 13th of last year, Hawaii Housing Finance Development Corporation approved exemptions for Kuilei Place. 19 days later, on November 1st, it was submitted to the city council, which started an automatic approval clock of 45 days. And then, but that was too soon for your November 3rd meeting because he couldn't get on the agenda then. So there was an agenda, November 3rd agenda for this board, but it was canceled at the last minute. But it wasn't on the agenda anyway. The December meeting, Kuilei Place was on the agenda, but that meeting was also canceled, saying that a tentative meeting, next meeting was January 23rd, but that is your regular recess day. So that was postponed also. So during the critical period of October, November, December, January, the board, just by not having meetings, was not there. You didn't have any discussion about it and so forth. And there was some that I think Calvin Say mentioned, and I've got to go review that. So, you know, and with the governor's emergency powers, there'll be more of this. In fact, the city council could basically, their approval become not necessary. So then the state Hawaii Housing Finance Development Court basically then would run the show, and whatever they approve gets happened. So my interest is in having the community have the wherewithal to have some level of mindful evaluation of the projects to avoid harm, you know, so that we don't regret it at the end, or at the very least, we do this with wide eyes open, so that later on we can kick ourselves and say, well, we made a mistake, or we shouldn't have done it, but at least we know, at least we are doing it openly. Now, Pahoa Ridge Apartments, I was impressed by their level of transparency, but the meeting, you know, I guess you lost the quorum and there was no action or no really consensus building, and it's not on this agenda, and I'm hoping that it'd be on other agendas. I'll be meeting with some of the neighbors who said they did not get any notice about the town hall meeting, developers meeting. There's another one that's on August 30th. Do you know folks heard about it? It's on their website. Maybe if they're going to watch this, I should note that I went on their website last night, and they had the wrong address. They had a 2279, and I looked at it today. It was corrected on the website to 2779. And also the most critical piece of information that was given at your last meeting in July was how high. And you folks discussed it, and it was on the slide deck that it's they're asking for another 100-foot, go up 100 foot above the current limit. And that was and so there were community members that did not know about it. So I'm interested in people may like it or not like it, but we need to just, it's going to be in our community if it happens. What I like about it, although it's on a hill, so it's already like 100 foot higher than normal, than the CAM building, which is behind the Cape thing, Cape Land or whatever. After I meet with them and meet with, well, I was mentioning, I'd like, ideally, if the HHFDC could grant the 30 to 60% rentals for the Pohoa Ridge apartments and give preference to those who will be displaced by the Ku'ulei place. Now, I don't think the city can do it since they already granted it. They can't take it back. But the state agency chooses who gets what. So they can decide to, once you grant exemptions, then later on they can decide to add value to the lot by the development by not granting them the rentals. So the Ku'ulei place could not get rentals. And so now they have a boom, so now they can sell it. And so you make more profit, I guess. And so I think there's a basis for Councilmember Waters asking developers on their own to help those that are evicted. But the state agency could help even more, I think, by trying to minimize the negative impacts of one affordable housing by housing them in the new one. And I'm not sure if that's enough of a benefit to the community to warrant the. I know there's been a long-standing concern about high rises in the area. I lived in a spot zoning. I lived in 9th and Wailai for that Jade condo, which is one tower going up. There's a history behind that. There's spot zoning, and so we're looking at a lot of spot zoning that superpowers, emergency powers can allow. So it's important that the community at least evaluate it, and you have 45 days. So you got to be ready. And then if the concerns are accepted, then fine. But the city council is important because they can put conditions on the approvals, which they did for Ku'ulei Place. Wrap it up by saying that I'm partnering with Senator Fukunaga on the Alawai Watershed Project, a watershed restoration project, as well as the flood control project that need to come together somehow. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of people on the board?
Dave has it.
Do you think it's right of the governor to exercise the emergency powers like that? Do you consider the housing situation an emergency?
So when was it? When Linda Lingle was governor, she did, the first time she did an emergency proclamation, emergency powers, invoking emergency powers for abandoned vehicles. You wipe out all the rules in order to abandon vehicles. And I thought we were at the legislature, some of us were like, that's not what the purpose was for. And we fought it and basically lost. Basically, the governor's executive branch have powers, like the president have powers, because when push comes to shove, we legislature cannot do it. It has to be the executive. So a lot of times the policies we make mistakes, but we have someone acting for us, and that person may make a mistake. So as to my opinion, I think it is way too broad, but it can, and because once it's done, but hopefully that there'll be enough community voices that it gets heard So then the governor can then be more mindful and cautious so that not have an intended, well-intended project have some side effects that was not intended. You know, that's the famous thing is, oh, sorry, we didn't mean it, but it's done, it's done. So that'll will be one of the areas that I'll be involved in. Not so much to block it, but to make the best use of it. I think we do need housing, and then there's really a pushback against NIMBYism. And the question is being concerned about your community unwarranted, or is it, you know, you can be so concerned that you don't care about others, push them to another community, we don't care. But if you're mindful about communities, not just neighborhoods, then we got to work together and solve the global problem, which I think we do need to.
I've always considered that an emergency is something like a hurricane or fire, a forest fire or something. And calling an emergency for housing, sure, we've got a problem with housing without a doubt, you know. But to me, that's just a way to get around the rules that are already established, you know, and say, oh, I don't have to pay attention to these rules. I'll just call an emergency, you know. Right.
And it should at least give a priority to affordable housing. It does not give a priority. It says you may give a priority, but the proclamation itself does not require that it be a priority. And people coming in, you don't have to, you can be an investor, you can buy. You don't have to have your first buyer. So there's I think it's way too broad. But I could see the governor saying, well, my bad, but I you know, if there's a problem, and then, but it politically it's fine because, oops, you made a mistake for a good cause, so to speak. But the pushback and the missing piece, the piece that's important is to have the community voice. Because 201H projects, we've had it since the 70s. I did research, and always the city council, because they don't send anyone thing to these approvals. They don't, the developers, they don't send, or the exemptions, projects, they're not, you don't make it, so if you know the council is not, because they're there to protect the community. They're closest to the community. And so while it's a state agency, not the legislature, makes a decision, I've always felt that because the council was final approval, that they would look out for the community. And now the emergency powers could easily, for the Pahoa Ridge, eliminate the council approval in October, I think, or later this year, when the developers said they were going to submit it to the council. And he didn't mention that there's an automatic approval, that if nothing's happened, it automatically gets approved. With no one there. Yeah.
I'm sorry to be rude, but that stinks.
Well, in the middle of the night, when the law passed, I voted against it because.
Rob, check that.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Louis had a question, Chair.
Hi, Chair. Chair, I think this is going to be a topic in the housing committee, but Senator was right. The 201H was created in the 70s by the state, and this is how all these buildings came up. They needed to get housing real quick, real fast, and up and moving, and that's why we have these buildings that was built right around the same time between the 50s and the 70s, but they didn't change it. And what it does is when you go to the city council to do your approval of your permit through the zoning committee, the 201H, when you go to the state, you get this certification from the state that tells you how to run this project through the city and through the process. And in this conversation or in this process, the 201H, sometimes it may eliminate the need to go to the neighborhood board. Sometimes it may eliminate the need to do certain things in order, again, in the best interest of building these buildings as fast as possible. So again, like he said, this has been something that's been going on for 40 years. And I think we're in a different place in life where the 201H can be at some point amended. You know, because right now, if you go get a 201H, you basically restrict all of the rules that you have. That has to go with the city budgeting, the city permitting process. It just changes the rules. And so he was right. I just wanted to reiterate the fact that This also will be part of the housing committee conversation about the 201H and how we use it to develop today, not necessarily in the 70s. So thank you again, Senator.
Who's the chair of the housing committee? You have a housing committee?
Yeah.
You're the chair?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about we work, because we need to get a lot of the facts straight, because
Yeah.
we've been doing research and, you know, to me, I doubt that there'll be changes in the legislature unless I tried to make, myself and Senator Fukunaga tried to.
Yeah.
Because
some council members
you
tried to.
eliminate EIS, you know, they're talking about in Manoa, putting in preservation land, you know, affordable housing, and without an EIS, without, you know,
So you can
sewer
do
studies,
that.
all of that.
Certain programs, you can circumvent some of it.
Yeah.
Again,
So
to.
we'll work with you and.
Okay.
Rep. Nishimura has his hand up.
Yeah, okay, great.
If you don't mind.
No, please.
No, just wanted to, I know there's a lot of new board members, so last session, I worked with some of the board members that are no longer on the board.
Okay.
They wanted me to introduce a bill to extend the time for 201H approvals because they felt like the approval was rushed, like Les said. The community didn't have enough time for input, like Senator said. So there's a bill actually to extend the time. It went through the House, I think it's in the Senate.
Okay.
So we can work on that too.
Right, yeah.
But you know, the main thing is that the community needs to be able to get their input on these projects. And like Senator said, it was a short runway. This bill would, you know, make it a longer runway and make it so that you'll have more time to give your input. So I worked with a few of the board members to introduce this bill. And, you know, we're all gonna work on it next year. The two senators, Andrew, Adrian, will all work on it.
So that means that they have more time to get their approval?
It would mean that the community has more time to give feedback.
But then with the 201H, it doesn't require them to come to the community.
And this would make it so that
Okay.
they have to
Okay.
get community input, and it would increase the timeline. Because I think it's 45 days now.
Yeah.
I think it would increase it to like 90.
Or at least give it some exceptions, because the Queeley Place is a perfect example where you folks are out for 3 solid months.
Right.
Yes.
And it wasn't your fault. I mean, it was just one of those top things. And like, that would be a perfect example of why, that's what, when people get upset, then they take it out on the next project. You know, so it's a short-term gain, but you gotta, you know, work together, community, and, you know, balance it out where we do need affordable housing, but at least we have a say.
So, I mean, it is something that we are working on in the legislature because we've heard your concerns.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So, perfect.
Where are these
Good ad. What he said.
And then Chair Daisy has her hand up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Senator Ihara and Representative Nishimoto. Thanks for doing all the research. As you know, Coleridge, I believe, is going to go to the former ACDA this month. And then in a couple months, I think in October, they're going to go to City Council. So they're fast tracking it. And that's the worst place to have a big project. I mean, it's not the affordable rental, it's the project being so huge. And in that small, 4-lane lane just to get to the freeway and to Beretania Street and from UH, you know, coming from St. Louis Heights, all the traffic coming in through Waikiki, Kapilani Boulevard, Kaimiki, etc. You know, it's gonna be really tight, and a lot of infrastructure information was never really discussed. So I think all these projects, because if you know in Mōʻiliʻili, besides that, the Velodrome, the Hawaiian housing, that's also a huge one by Stanford Carr. Nothing about infrastructure was ever discussed at any of those projects. So this really needs to be really looked hard, because the people in Mōʻiliʻili and the surrounding areas are going to feel the effect of it. And don't forget, people have more than 1 or 2 cars. So you're going to have a lot of people in a lot of cars, and where's the parking? So I know, I appreciate your time and effort, but it is a nice problem that you have to think of the community around the area, because people in Manoa also have that problem. They can't go anywhere because they're stuck between Date Street, St. Louis Heights, or they're going to go down University Avenue. They're going to be compounded. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I follow up on that? For the neighborhood commission, neighborhood system? I tried to download the slide deck that Pajor Ridge developers, it was not on them online. And so the height information is not on their website and it's not available. So the only way I found out is by listening to the presentation, the video. And so if we can correct that and people, people are already upset, and to find out these are, we want to cut down on the unnecessary errors because it makes it look like very suspicious. But I watching the video, it sounded like a pretty responsible group, and they've done a lot of projects. So
Okay, I
if we
hope you know there's 28 stories tall and 281 units. So that can run maybe 500, 600 people in that particular complex. That's just for that one project. Don't
if you
forget
can
the other
imagine-
two projects in the area too.
When you get off the freeway onto Wyla Avenue, to Kapilani, there's a building on the left. The owner, Mr. Kammer, we used to, I knew that I rented one of his apartments. If you can imagine, that's about 60 or maybe 80 feet high, some of the 5, 6 stories. And the Pajor Ridge apartment starts from the top because it already is on a hill. And so it really is, I don't know, I haven't figured it out, but I think it'll, you can add another 80 feet above the 250. So, to me, the more the community knows about it, they may get upset at first, but once they see the process and the what it's for, then at least we need to get to the heart of it rather than avoid. We need to rebalance, the need for housing and the need for community coherency, and we need, so that's what this is. But to force it is going to it'll be worse because then the community is not going to like it in the future. So that's why I'm interested in having with community input, more of a balance approach.
Well, it doesn't always work with the community input. Thank you.
Yeah,
Lyndon, how are we doing on time?
It's 9:01 right now. We have one more hand up and we have a bunch of more items to get to.
Right.
We had talked
So
about.
what time?
Go ahead, Chair.
How long do we have?
What's that?
So the guy came in, he said we have until 9:30, so.
Okay, 9:30.
9:30, okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
And Morgan has a question.
Chair, just, one more question. So if we were gonna extend the 45-day window for feedback, for community feedback to 90 days, are there other, I don't know, truncated or shortened timelines that you also were looking into extending, or would that just be the only kind of shift in the overall process?
I wasn't deeply involved in that issue. She's asking about the 45-day, extending it longer. Yeah.
Were there other timelines that you were trying to
I
elongate?
think that was the only one, but I gotta go back and look at it. But my business is going against the grain because everybody's trying to speed everything up. But from our experience in this community, we need to kind of slow it down and be able to get community input on these things. But the trend is to speed everything up now. So this is really, it's gonna take some convincing of my colleagues, of our colleagues, that this is something that we needed because everybody wants to speed things up.
Thank you, guys.
On that, I am planning to connect with community leaders across the island because this is happening everywhere, a lot of places. And then we can bargain because then that's how we rebalance. Because to slow them down, to slow up the development, we want to be a mindful slowdown, not just no, but we want to be able. But in order to do that, we need to have the community speak as a voice, and so we'll address that because there are other things. There's a lot of automatic approvals.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, we got one more hand up.
Yeah, Joanne has
Anybody
a hand up.
Me? Is it me?
Hello.
Who is it? Whose turn is it?
Joanne.
Okay. So Les, I have a question to you. I'm going back to the homeless issue because that's my concern. So, we're building a lot of affordable housing and little tiny homes for the homeless, but it's so expensive here in Hawaii. What about an idea of you sending them to another state where you can build a community center for them to get these kinds of like treatments and homes. I know in Houston and in San Antonio, they've been successful in doing that, where there's a community where they can get like these services and they're with their, other people who understand their position and they give support to each other. And it's been working out well. But we don't have that kind of land here. What if you send them to another state so they can get these wraparound services and homes, communities built cheaper there until they get rehabilitated? Then they can, find a job and then afford to maybe live here. Because there's all kind of affordable housings that need it, for people who work, who don't make enough money to even buy a bedroom studio. It's so expensive.
So noted.
Mhm.
Good respond.
Next. Who is the next question?
We have a question here in live.
Yeah, we have a question here
I
live.
forgot what her name is. I'm sorry.
Karen.
Karen Lund again. Thank you, Senator, for your comments and a lot of good information. You mentioned a new forum for community input. And if you are setting such a thing up, can we call your office and find out? Yes. Yes, I'll send you an email. But you might solicit other people's interest, other people.
Well, I am, we're doing it. I'm offering my support on the condition that we don't demonize anyone, that we share in a caring, where it's a caring community. So that is the ethic by which we're going to operate. And because we are a caring community, we care about people who need the housing, and we care about the homeless, and we care about all the communities. So that's the mode upon which we're going to operate.
Okay, so this,
on that condition, you're welcome to participate.
okay, so and to clarify then, this is more of a housing,
No,
houselessness?
It's a giving community voice.
Okay.
Yeah, because short-term gains, community is already fed up. And so I think
Right.
that, we want to be able to have a more of a collaborative and caring way we relate to each other.
And maybe a discussion forum, there's obviously not enough time in the neighborhood board to have discussion. The neighborhood.
Maybe
board-
I'm planning to sponsor with Senator Fukunaga.
Okay. Because the neighborhood board's unanimous resolution on Mōʻiliʻili Place obviously went nowhere, so this might be a forum.
I'm not sure, I'm trying to inquire whether the community ever met, because during that period, I think it was just testimony, but there was no community meeting.
Right, okay, but thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Question for?
I'm sure Joanne has another question or hands not raised.
No,
I didn't ask
she had her.
I didn't get an answer.
Oh, yeah.
My answer is so noted.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Senator Morila.
Next, Carol Naga.
John Oreo, you're in the way.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations. I'm Sharon Moriwaki. I'm just going to pass this out as the report, some information from the district. As was noted, I'm just going to answer any questions. I do have a survey that we pass out once a year. And so I have it on the back side. There's a QR code or email. And we use that to identify priorities. And if you want to work on any of these issues, we've heard a lot already. Very glad to respond to any of your concerns. So if there are any questions, I know in the interest of time, I am here to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions
Very
for?
hard, I know that.
Yes, Joanne.
Last question. Are you still representing our area? I heard you're not.
I'm representing a very small sliver of this area now. So because Kaka'ako has grown, I really just have from the McCully Bridge over to Liaisons and back down to the ocean. So very, very limited. But I
Okay,
still
so not Mōʻiliʻili anymore then.
no more McCully.
Okay, who's doing that now then?
I think Senator Ihara. You're representing Mōʻiliʻili.
What's the question?
Where do you represent? Who's representing? Joanne, you're in on Houston, or where do you live?
Which senator
Mōʻiliʻili,
borders?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
McCully, which senator borders?
Mōʻiliʻili.
I go to Mōʻiliʻili Street.
Yes.
Yeah, and I go to the others. So it's Senator Ihara.
Oh, okay. So you're not you're not in our area at all anymore then, except for McCully
Yes.
to Mōʻiliʻili. Okay.
Fortunately, yes.
Well, please talk to James Koshiba.
You could call try emailing him, because he does have some ideas on the kauhale, the small villages, the small houses, and also the ohana zones, where they are looking at properties where they can have wraparound services for the homeless.
I haven't been able to get
Email his office.
I did.
Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Okay, anyone else for a question for Senator?
Not that I can see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Senator.
Senator.
Thank you very much. Okay, that wraps the elected.
Skipped over Senator Carol Fukunaga. I think she has a rep.
You skipped over Claire.
Oh, Carol Fukunaga. I didn't skip over, somebody else jumped in front of her.
It's okay. I'm not there in person anyways. So Claire Ronquillo on behalf of Senator Fukunaga. We had distributed our newsletter, which highlights tackling climate change, and it also mentions the Alawai watershed, which Senator Ihara had mentioned earlier. It also highlights budget items of Senate District 11, which Senate District 11 is Manoa, Makiki Punch Bowl, Tantalus, and Papakuea. And additionally, she wanted to highlight that Roosevelt High School will be getting their new gym facility, and it is slated to be completed by mid-2025. And for the interest of time, I am here to take back any questions and comments or concerns to the senator.
Questions from the board?
No.
No? From anybody else in the room? Nope.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Yes.
What? Somebody say something?
Oh.
Did somebody have a question?
No, no question, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Tell the senator we appreciate it.
Well, I'll let her know.
Thank you very much. Okie dokie. Next, resident community comments, no presentations for mention of items of concern or commit that are not on the agenda. Anybody have anything you want to say?
Yeah, Karen has her hand up.
Karen, that's right.
All righty.
It's me again, sorry. I'll just make this kind of brief. The first thing I wanted to mention, thanks to Mike O'Keefe, because I spoke with him, or I corresponded with him on email about two of the issues that were discussed at the last meeting. He didn't bring them up today, but said he would be looking into them. These were two items in the community that need repairs. The second thing is I would like to propose a resolution for the board's consideration, and I'm kind of having trouble figuring out how to do that appropriately so that the board has the information to review and talk about or discuss, and I can have someone who's more well-versed than I am discuss it at a meeting, but I'm not sure what the protocol is. A couple other neighborhood boards have already passed this resolution. It's on supporting consumer protection bills for condo owners. And we do have a number of condos in our neighborhood. Neighborhood Board 9, Waikiki, and Neighborhood Board 11, El Moana, Kakako have already passed it. I'm not sure how many, if other neighborhood boards have done so or not. So I'd like to know what the protocol is for, I did send Chair Obadia an email, but I haven't heard back of how I should go about doing this. So, and since not everybody's here, I don't have copies either, but I can leave.
You should check your email. I just, we just have you on the, that's all, and you can what you'd like. This is for a brief mention of the things you want to do. I think that for us to discuss that now, we're just not, like I got your email today, and I sure recall. So.
But actually, I asked for it to be on the agenda for this meeting, but I didn't hear back, so.
Yeah, and there was nothing I could do about it when I saw that.
Okay,
Do you want
So
to?
we'll get you on the next.
okay, thank you.
I'll take a copy of it as a secretary.
There you go.
Thank you. And then we can communicate.
Thank you.
I'll work with you.
And then there's a Chris, he has his hand up.
Thank you, mahalo. Aloha, Chair Rabadi, neighborhood board members, elected officials. My name is Chris Duker. I got to speak with many of you about a month ago at our last neighborhood board meeting. I'm with Forum Partners. I'm part of the development team for Pahoa Ridge Apartments. And I want to appreciate and thank Senator Yahara and some of the great discussion that was going on amongst the community members earlier. I'm just here tonight to let everyone know, as it was already mentioned, we're having our second town hall meeting on Wednesday, August 30th. We had originally done a town hall meeting back in May, and then of course came to this neighborhood board about a month ago. But understanding obviously the great amount of business that this board has before it, we felt it was important that we have another town hall meeting, invite everyone out and make sure that we have the time to present and answer questions and have discussions about what's going on. Transparency is very important to us, and we want to make sure that we get the word out. In addition, we are doing another direct mailer to the homeowners in the area that's going to go out next week. And just wanted to make everyone aware of that, and appreciate the discussion that was happening earlier. And we look forward to seeing hopefully many of you or all of you at the community meeting, the town hall on the 30th.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Anybody else have anything they want to say? This brief mention. Going once, twice, 3 times. Okay, next we do approval of minutes for Thursday, 1st. This.
I'm sorry, was there a question there? I didn't hear it, broke up.
Lyndon, I'm talking to.
What's up?
Yeah, do we have approval of minutes? Do we have the June 1?
I
June
didn't
1st?
receive any corrections online.
Okay.
I move to make
I
a
guess that's
motion to approve the minutes
Yeah.
from the last meeting, June
June 1st.
June 1st. I move to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 1st in the best interest of time.
Second.
Second.
Is that okay with you, Lyndon?
Are there any objections to accepting the minutes as written? Oh, hearing no objections. So
Okay. Tom, you have something to say? Okay. The minutes were approved.
Yep.
Okay. Next, new business. There's a designated board representatives. That's third way of each month. That's if you want to go to that one. The next one, this one is we're out of time pretty much. We have a little time left, but it's Insight on PBS Hawaii invitation for discussion on Alawai pedestrian bridge project on Thursday, August 10th, 2003, 7:30 to 8. Barbara asked to do that. Is there anybody else that would like to do that on PBS? No? So it looks like it's gonna be Dave, Barbara, and myself. Okay. And I'll call her tomorrow and finalize it. We have,
What's the commitment? Where do you show up?
pardon?
On Thursday, the 10th.
Where's the location of
Thursday, the 10th at PBS, which is on Sand Island Road, right out in that area, over McDonald's, right in that corner itself, right behind McDonald's kind of
Do
thing.
we have to RSVP or we have to tell you now if we want to go?
Just let me know today, tomorrow, and
I'll let you know.
I'll call the lady. Yeah. Okay, good.
I have a question.
Okay, and Laura Ruby will be there also. Okay, do you have a question?
Yes.
Real quick, Chair, it sounds like for 11A designation of BART for OMPO, it sounds like you're gonna move this to the next agenda for next month, because it's every Wednesday for each month, every month. And it's usually going to the
Right.
Transportation Chair Committee, so it sounds like you're gonna move this to the next agenda, because we gotta choose somebody. But you gotta choose somebody, you know?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so
That's our first choice.
Excuse me, Chair, this is Daisy. I need to correct the date. It's the first Wednesday of each month at 2:30 p.m. We just had a meeting yesterday for the OMPO CAC. Just to let you know, it's the first Wednesday of each month at 2:30. Thank you.
First month.
Yeah.
First.
They just changed it this year. Thank you.
The two.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody-
Chair.
That's gonna be you. You do that?
Usually it's the Transportation Chair.
Louis, we're gonna do that?
No. No, what I was just asking is that maybe we can make a decision next agenda and maybe have a transportation committee go with it. Because usually it's a person that runs a transportation committee that goes to the and this is very important because this is all of the developments that's coming up, whether it's federal, state, and city, it all comes up in this one meeting for discussion. And it sets up priorities. So if we're not there, our neighborhood board is not going to be in a good place to set up for priorities for our own district. So just wanted to mention that, Chair.
Great.
And then Laura.
We'll take care of that.
And then Laura has her hand up.
Laura.
Yes. Louis, just let me know. We'll get together on that one.
Just a clarification, because some people said you were breaking up, Paul, Mr. Chairman. The Insights PBS is on 7:30 on August 10th. We encourage you to tune in. And if there was somebody who's interested in going there, I'm not sure what that amounts to, but if you could get in touch with Chairman Rabati, then he will let me know and I will send you lots of information.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the lady and I have been talking a little bit.
Okay.
And she I'm to give it.
Okay.
So we're okay there. And I'll get hold of you also, Laura. Okay. That's about it. Okay, next. Reports of attendance of public meetings. No, we didn't have any of that. Housekeeping. Pertinent material arriving after the agenda decline. We didn't have any. Excuse me. Olelo Brass of the McCully Neighborhood Board. These are on channel 49 on the following schedule: the third Friday of the month at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. and the second and fourth Saturday at 3 o'clock. Bulky item pickup by appointment only, as you guys know. Reporting neighborhood issues. That's the website. And the next regular meeting will be September 7th, and location in, well, we know what time. It's going to be in the same location, Lyndon?
Correct. Same location, yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm going to try, as many of us can be there. It'd be great to tell folks that we're going to do it as live as we can. After, thank you for putting up with something wrong with what happened to my computer.
Well, I want to
Thomas.
ask a fast question. I don't think you see my hand.
Sure.
Do you know how
No,
we can get in
sorry.
our neighborhood those trash bins like Kahala has with the cover that so the rubbish doesn't fly out? My neighbor doesn't put his in plastic bags, so they fly into my yard constantly. I've told him, but so I'm thinking, do we have to pay for those kind of rubbish cans?
Yeah, it's like 1,500 a month.
Yeah.
1,500 a month.
Yeah.
Wow. How come? San Diego has it for free.
Oh, a good place to live, yes.
I don't know.
Chair?
1,500 a month. Okay.
Chair, I just wanted to mention something real quick before we end the meeting, that the next housing committee meeting is going to be on the 30th of August. This is the day after the 31st, I'm sorry. It's going to be the 31st of August, which is a Thursday. It's the day after the Ku'ule conversation, and it's 1 week before the next meeting for the our board. So it's going to be on Thursday, 31st. You're going to get information. I don't know where it's going to be at. I might make it at College Park.
Oh, okay. Okey-doke. That's the adjournment. Like I said, sorry again about the sound pictures. So, I'll have to get my daughter to check my computer, but I surely, this is the first time this has ever happened. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dave Barber, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Dave,
Yes,
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
okay,
Because the lady is going to want to talk to you and do a profile on you also.
right.
Is the meeting adjourned?
Yes, yeah, sorry.
Meeting
If I
adjourned.
said it, you say that.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want.
Goodbye, guys.
Sorry.